One of the most interesting, strangest, and romantic facts about all of us is that we can have a long, enduring memory of something that happened quite apparently incidentally, and it can affect our lives over many years. When I was quite young, I lived in Syracuse, New York. And during the Lenten season, they brought to Syracuse one of the most famous men of that period. He spoke at a noonday Lenten service in the vast auditorium of the First Baptist Church of Syracuse. I was sitting out in the audience. This has been a little over 50 years ago. This man came out. He was famous as an intellectual. And he stated, "I have never been discouraged in 25 years. Now, I had never heard anything like that in my life before. I couldn't write him off as an oddball, for he wasn't that. He was a man of great intellectual prowess. Nor could I dispose of him as a crank, for he had the reputation of being a very scientific gentleman. His name, and it's a name that will be remembered by some of you, although he's been deceased for a long time now. His name was Dr. E. Stanley Jones. He was for many years a missionary to India. He worked with the upper classes, that is, the intellectuals of India. He won them to Christ by the thousands, by the orderly argument which he was able to mount. A great genius. But on this particular occasion, he said that the reason he hadn't been discouraged in 25 years was that he discovered a simple, workable secret. He had been trying to carry everything himself, and as a result, he'd had 2 nervous breakdowns. Finally, in despair, one night in Lucknow, India, while they were praying in a church service, the Lord seemed to come to him and say, "Look, Stanley, are you ready to turn your life over to me, or do you want to hang on to it and ruin it?" He said, "If you'll give it to me, I'll take care of you. I'll give you health, energy, strength, and vitality for a long life, and these discouragements that have haunted you shall be no more." And Jones said, "That seemed like a good deal. So I closed with it on the spot. And as a result, I have not been discouraged." So he said, for 25 years. And he lived to be around 90 years of age. Well, that made a powerful impression on me. I'd been brought up in a kind of a different school of religious thought than that implied. I had been to a university where the gospel was mostly oriented towards social conditions. And this idea that a person could actually overcome discouragement in 1 minute of time and never have it again for a quarter of a century was more than I could take, intellectually. But I admired him, I respected him, I knew he was telling the truth as he saw it. Later on, I owe him a great deal of gratitude. He led me into a realization that you can be intellectually out in front and at the same time in the center personally in your faith. So as far as that's the sermon that I have in mind today, and I've only been talking about 3 minutes. So as far as what is to follow, it's all padding. You could go home from now. The answer is how to stop being discouraged. Stop trying to run your life on your own. Turn it over to Jesus. Live with him, and you'll do a better job with it. That's it in a nutshell.